All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the menu. So the menu on AXIBO is navigated through these side buttons. So usually what they mean is they mean scroll up, scroll down, and then enter or back is what the third button means. So what we'll do is we'll go through the options and then I'll show you how to use each one. So the first one we have is just general jogging if you need to move your AXIBO around. The next is setting up waypoints. So waypoints and time lapse are the same thing. So if we want to set up a couple points and then move between them, we can do that through the waypoints menu. The next menu is tracking, so we can start and stop tracking from this menu. We can do the homing, so if you need to do precise work with AXIBO, it does require a precision homing routine, and we can do that through the menu. And then we also have a system info page. So we'll start by taking a look at this. So here we have an important piece. So if you want to skip ahead from this video and go straight to using the app, this is the only piece of information you're going to need. We're going to go to our access point. So AXIBO projects an access point, which we can use to connect to with our Wi-Fi on a phone or a laptop. And what you want to do is you want to click on access point, and it's going to give you the name you should look for. So this is the name that you should look for on your phone for looking at the Wi-Fi network. And the last part of the name is the password. So not the dash, everything else. So the letters and the numbers that are there are the password for that Wi-Fi network. When you connect to it, you can go to the IP address 10.42.0.1, and then you'll be able to see the user interface on your phone in a web browser. So we're going to go back, and there's some other options in here as well. So we can take a look at our Wi-Fi if it's configured, our Ethernet if you have that configured, as well as our version. This is also important, and you want to take a look at your version. So right now, as of making this video, this is 1.2.4. But there is already another version on the way. So your number should probably be higher than this. If not, take a look at the video on how to update AXIBO. So we're going to go back and we're going to go to jogging. Jogging is very straightforward to use. So here I have the pan axis selected. It's the first one that comes up. So you can see when I click the buttons, I'm going to pan left and I'm going to pan right. And then my tilt axis. So I can easily adjust AXIBO, and then my slide axis. So what you'll notice is I'm probably going to go in and out of focus when sliding, but AXIBO is sliding back and forth. And there, once we hit the button again, we're going to exit the menu. The next one is waypoint. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to create a waypoint. And then finally, the other one is tracking as well. So first, I'll just tell you how tracking works. If we go to tracking, we can choose what we want to track. So now, right now, we only have human poses enabled in this tracking set. Eventually, there will be other things in here. But what you can see is that there's a couple different options. So if we want to track head, we can track upper body. And I think those are the only two options that we have enabled at the moment. Yeah, they are. So I'm going to go back. And if I was to click on one of those, it would instantly start tracking ahead. But I don't have anyone to track right now in the studio setup. But please try that one. You'll have a lot of fun with it. The next is waypoint. So let's take a look at this. So the first thing we can do is we can load a set. So if we have a set of waypoints already, or we can create a new set. So now I'm going to show you guys how that's done. So what we'll do is we'll create a new set. And first it's going to ask for positions. So we want to set all of the positions. So I'm going to set this as my start position. So I'm only going to do a panning one. So just like we're doing a time lapse. It's going to ask for tilt. I don't want to change tilt, so I'm just going to hit next. I don't want to change slide, so I'm just going to hit next. And then it's going to ask me to confirm, and I'm going to confirm. And that's my keyframe 1. So the next thing I can do is I can create another one. So pan, I'm going to pan a little more. So this is going to be our next point. It's going to ask for tilt, I don't want it. Slide, I don't want it. And then confirm. So now I'm going to confirm it. So now the next thing you can see is that it's asking me how long I want it to be. And I'm going to say in seconds that I want it to be, let's go with, other way. Let's say that I want it to be, we won't go too long. I just hold the button down to change it. Let's go with 40 seconds. So again, this could be anything from 10 seconds to 10 hours. It can be whatever time you want. And then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the menu until I see confirm, and I'm going to confirm it. So now I have my keyframes, and I can confirm the keyframes. And it's creating the set. And what you'll see here is that it's got a name. So this one's called Bellix Trimus. So that name we want to remember because that name is saved in here and we can use that to then run our keyframes. So what we're going to do is it asks us if we want to run the set now. So we can run it now if we want, or we can save it for later and use it somewhere else. So we don't have to create a new set of waypoints every time. So run set now, I'm going to click yes. And it's going to ask me, do I want it in looping mode? I'm going to just say no for now. Looping mode is where it goes back and forth. Usually that's used for video or interview shots, but I'm just doing a quick time lapse. So I'm going to click no. And now it moves to its first position, and then it executes the waypoint. So now what it's doing, and I'll just take my hands off, is you can see if you watch the video, you can see that AXIBO is slowly panning. So you can see it moving from right to left. And this is if you wanted to do a quick time lapse. But imagine this happening over a much longer period of time, potentially 10 hours. One thing you can do is take a look at this video, and you can see the smoothness that AXIBO is moving at while we're doing this quick sample. And I'm on a desk right now. It's not even a very good desk. It's a kind of flimsy IKEA desk that we're filming the video on. And AXIBO is still very, very smooth in its motion. And once the waypoints are complete, so you're going to notice it's just about to finish, you will get the menu back, and then you can just cancel the operation, or it'll say finished, whatever you want to do. And now we're back at the main menu. What I'll do is I'll just jog it facing forward so that you guys can see the menu again. I think it was kind of a little out of frame there. Okay, so now we're looking at the menu again. The last thing that I want to talk about is, let's just get out of this. So we've talked about all of the menus that are here. The last one that we want to look at is our homing menu. Now homing, we only need to do it if we are going to, first of all, do tracking. Sometimes it's helpful, but if we want repeatable waypoints, what that means is that you take AXIBO and you reboot it, and you get to do the same thing again in the exact same position. This is very useful for product photography or virtual production. Homing routine basically means that AXIBO is going to go to a very exact position and set that position as 0, so that every time you turn AXIBO on, it goes to the same place, because by default, when you turn AXIBO on, it doesn't know where it is. So we're going to go to homing and we're going to run homing. Now this is noisy. It can be a little noisy. So you're going to hear that in the video. AXIBO is not this noisy when it's running. This is only when it is running its homing routine or it's in the high speed mode. And you're going to hear it making a little crash. So that noise is expected. That's homing the slider. And then you're also going to hear little tiny chirps coming out of AXIBO as it homes. Once those noises stop and the menu says that it's done, the homing has been completed. Now, it may also be useful to home through the user interface. So if you connect to the web app, that is also a great way to home AXIBO, and it is a little bit more detailed if you're not familiar with this process. So we'll let it finish. Okay, so our homing's finished, and AXIBO now knows where it is. So currently, those are all the features that are available on the menu. So you can create a quick time lapse, you can do some tracking, and you can get the device info. Hang around and we'll show you how to use the web application. Thanks a lot.